A video that appears to show Mozambican security forces torturing and possibly killing militants is prompting calls for investigations and denials from government officials. Amnesty International obtained 5 videos and 3 photos it says were taken in the restive Cabo Delgado region. The images have been analyzed by the group's Crisis Evidence Lab, which believes they are authentic and taken in the first 6 months of 2020. Brian Castner is Amnesty International Senior Crisis Advisor for Arms and Military Operations. He told VOA that one video shows soldiers cheering while bound detainees are kicked and beaten with rifle butts.
In one case, one of the soldiers cuts the ear off one of the detainees and presents it to him while people cheer. In another case, they threaten to light the body on fire or light the person on fire while they're still alive. That part is not actually videotaped.
But the spokesperson for Mozambique's Defense Ministry, Omar Saranga, said the images should be looked at with skepticism. The military attire in these videos and images should not be taken for certain and are not accurate, he told reporters at a press conference in Maputo. The assailants appear to be from the Mozambique Armed Defense Forces and the Mozambique Rapid Intervention Unit, based on their uniforms, Amnesty said. But Saranga said that extremist groups and insurgents seek to discredit security forces by wearing their attire, and the rights group's researchers did not take the nature of reductionist propaganda into account. Despite the government's stance, Amnesty believes it is essential for the government to get a thorough investigation by an impartial body.
The next step is that the government does need to do a real investigation and not a whitewash investigation, not an immediate denial, not a calling it fake news or whatever else. They need to do a real investigation. And so that doesn't mean the police and the army investigating themselves, but, an outside office, an outside investigative arm of the government. They should be given the first opportunity to do that.
The motive of the attacks appears to be retaliation, Castner said. In one of the videos, a soldier appears to refer to his deployment to the region, saying, "I am here because of you."
They're not asking any questions. This is not an interrogation. It definitely seems to be punishment. In at least one of the videos, soldiers say this is Mocimboa da Praia. They're talking about the fact that they're in Cabo Delgado.
The region in northern Mozambique is home to some of the largest liquid natural gas extraction projects on the continent. It has also become extremely violent in recent years, with 1,854 deaths from organized violent attacks since 2017, according to the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project. David Matsinge is a human rights researcher with Amnesty International Southern Africa, and he says that while much attention and focus of news coverage has been about understanding the links between insurgents and foreign extremist groups, they are actually local people with local grievances. After gold, rubies, graphite, and natural gas were discovered in the region, locals lost access to key resources.
The tipping point appears to have been the expropriation of the land on which people have depended for centuries to provide for food, water, sanitation, all those basic necessities, because the government has never been able to establish an effective administration over there.
The loss of land made young people more susceptible to radicalization, Matsinge says.
It was easier for whoever radical preacher may have come in to convince the young people, because 80% of radicalization had been accomplished by the material conditions through the relationships between the community and the government.
The Mozambican government has called for a stronger response to the issue of militants and instability in the region. During a meeting between Southern African leaders in May, Filipe Nyusi, Mozambique's president, said forming a unified force to tackle the issue of extremism in the region is the best way forward.
The terrorism you can't fight alone everywhere. This is the experience what we have. We needed to share the forces, not only in region, for Africa, for all way.
But Amnesty's Matsinge said it is important to address internal issues from security forces.
The way the country is continuing, it's not sustainable. We do not want to see Mozambique in ashes, because of violence and violations of human rights.
And without holding attackers to account, it will be difficult for the government to win back the support of locals, he added. Salem Solomon, VOA News, Washington.